Yeah, good afternoon, guys. I think in a nation where the silence may not be good and the truth is often buried beneath the rubble of propaganda, we have brought you the 5 policy roundtable where we are not afraid to dig in deep into the in-depth analysis and to bring and to resurrect the facts, figures, distinguishing it from the farce and the noise on the social space. So I am Joe Simalabamaji, the legendary Joe, and here is
Oluwaseyitan Lawrence Aletile. They call me Sheyilo, to be CFR.
My name is Oluwafemi Aidemasho.
And I'm Otega the Tiger Ogra.
you have him here or her here, open to anyone who thinks it fits the bill.
I mean, that seat is open for the Nigerian people.
Yeah, that's the voice of the Nigerian people.
The voice of dissent.
The voice of the Nigerian people.
Respect, patriotic, informed Nigerian.
But I want to believe that sometimes we'll bring, stakeholders within this space, from your ministers, heads of agencies, those that are doing initiatives, or even regular Nigerians to come and sit here.
And I think that's the advantage this sitting has, because we have people who have a leg in the system, and we can easily bring those Nigerians may have been longing to hear from. Yeah. But with or without them, and any Nigerian can occupy this. They are also VIPs in their own rights.
I agree.
You might see this podcast and you feel like you deserve to be on the 5th seat. You are very welcome because you're very welcome. We want to hear from everybody. We want to talk to chairmen of companies, managing directors, chief executive officers. We want to talk to the executives of SMEs, young Nigerians who are passionate. We want to talk to political analysts. We want to hear from just the Nigerian out there who is angry.
Particularly social media influencers, those that are helping to shape the narrative on the social space. We have it here. Now, being the first episode anyway, or our first part of the conversation, let's brush the people's mind of the happenings of the last week. I think we had quite a number of major events.
Yeah.
We had the passing of a patriot, one of our most enigmatic, elegant leaders,
President Buhari.
the former president, Muhammad Buhari, GCFR. We also had the APC NEC meeting recently.
Yeah.
We had the movement around the opposition. And of course, on the economic side, we have quite some improvements in the facts and figures here. I think that's why we have the man in the executive here. And you addressed for the...
I said I couldn't afford to come here looking calm or gentle. So let them know that there's fire under our seats.
You're helping us, sir. With your knowledge from the executive, your private practice expertise, dig it deep to the figures. Because at the end of the day, politics must one way marry policies. That is how you have effective governance. And I think, but we have to start with him because our leader deserves maybe mentioning. At least it's a very good way to open a convention such as this. So, Mr. Sheikh, GCFR.
Thank you very much.
Our president.
Yes, we lost an enigma, an icon. When I was told I was going to speak about him, I felt this shouldn't be this shouldn't be for me because
Antecedents.
because of my antecedents with him. I'd never voted him in early elections, and would I say I really love him? No. But then, I'm a student of history. And they say those who don't respect history or repeat history. They say histories don't repeat themselves, but people repeat history.
Those who do not learn lessons
Lessons from
are
history.
bound to repeat the errors there.
Exactly. And we're talking about a man who was overthrown by another military man. And the man who overthrew his government probed deep into his tenure as the military head of state and found him not one thing, spotless.
More or less.
And I think that was the reason why he was able to build such a massive cult followership. He took over in December 31st, 1983. And by January 1985, his administration was cut short. He was once a military governor of Borno.
Yeah. I think
And,
that was under General Obiji.
and that is why monuments are named after him in Borno. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu honored him, honored his passing by renaming the University of Maiduguri after him. And we know that the airport in Maiduguri has his name on their board. The man, Muhammadu Buhari, lived a simple life, a life that is worth emulating. You can loathe him, you can love him, but that doesn't change the fact that for every position he had, he did his best. I remember the PTI fund and the number of schools, the Petroleum Trust Fund, and the number of schools in Nigeria that benefited when it was not popular to have a man lead an agency and lead it without blemish.
Even our refineries were.
Even our refineries were working. He lost elections 3 times. He shed tears. Many mocked him. But then he came back strong. And he won the 2015 elections.
True Nigerian spirits.
A true Nigerian
You
spirit.
keep going until you get it.
Something that some people are praying to be their lords right now. 3 times he lost.
I mean, there are still some people who are going into their 8th attempt or their 7th attempt.
So I would not say exaggerated.
Oh, it's 7th attempt? 7th attempt.
It's okay if it talks about it.
And some is a lucky number if you look at it. You might be lucky.
You think so?
You might be lucky.
Time will tell then.
Even on the 7th day, God rested. Why are you still fighting on your 7th day?
I don't like it.
I'm sure the new political party that just was just set up would not be happy with that joke.
So we don't digress too much from President Muhammadu Buhari. Yeah. When he passed in the United Kingdom, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did something that is worth mentioning. He sent not just delegates to go there and bring back the body of a worthy son. He sent the vice president to lead that delegate. And they didn't just bring back his body. They didn't put him in a cargo hold. They kept him in the main body of the aircraft. He didn't just wait for him at the villa. He waited at the foot of the airplane and made sure that enough space was created to welcome his body. Even when the Minister of Foreign Affairs, was going to join them in the plane. He cautioned him to wait because he wanted that space. That nobody squeezes the body of a true son of Nigeria. Like I say, you can loathe him, you can love him. That doesn't change the fact that truly he was a worthy son. When he became the president, I didn't support him. I didn't vote for him. But since our democracy in 1999, I can say it boldly, a non-president of this nation has built infrastructure like President Muhammadu Buhari. You can talk about those who served with him. You can accuse them of corruption. You can talk about them not doing what they ought to do. But you can't point that accusing finger at President Muhammadu Buhari. He came, he saw, and he conquered gallantly at the old age of 82.
He was honored by his country.
And he was honored not just by his country, by the number one man who would bow to him when he was alive and give him that honor
The final bow.
in his death.
Thank you so much.
He lived a simple life. He didn't amass wealth like many people. His people in Daura knew his home. Not too many things changed about his home, even after ruling the country.
To renovate his house in Kaduna after he left office.
After he left office. And that is because the man knew that one day he was going into a grave where he won't be able to shake his body. And as they lowered his body into that grave, his son, Yusuf Buhari, was there in the depths, picking the soil to cover his father as a true son. We honored his legacies, we honored his life, and we honor his person. And today we say goodbye to an icon, former President Muhammadu Buhari. Salute you.
You're not a lying, going on a lay own. To buttress you, you say you can question his capacity, you can question his competence, you can even decide to question his financial war chests, but you cannot question his character. And as Alfred Adler said, he said, men of power are feared, men of wealth are admired, men of beauty are respected, but only men of character can be trusted. And in 40 years of active service, the court following he gathered was testament of the trust the people, the Talaka was earning. They saw themselves in the man. We live in a nation where even 1 year in public service, you are expected to have a hilltop mansion. So president raised national libraries from the combined patrimony of the people in their names. But the man had maintained that frugal, that ramrod stature for 40 years. And to his credit, even men you can trace to him, men and women you can trace to him are those that also exhibit that integrity. The Dora Queenlies of this world was discovered to Buhari's credit. So I think
During his time as the head of the Petroleum Trust Fund, Dora went on a medical leave and came back with change to the government coffers. Not too many people do that.
So you see, for me, I don't want people watching to think that we're trying to whitewash President Muhammad Buhari's legacy. You can't whitewash the truth. The truth is the truth. Regardless of whether you're in Lagos, Kano, Abuja, in Nigeria, abroad, the truth remains the same. And I don't think anybody took who the man Buhari was for granted. He said what he would do, and he does what he will say. But at the end of the day, he was still human. And every human being, like Mr. President said, I was listening to him talk about Buhari, had their faults. But that did not in any way take away from his person, his character, his integrity, and the love he had for Nigeria. You know,
It's patriotism.
I was lucky to meet President Muhammadu Buhari about 4 or 5 times, throughout his presidency. Either when I was in private sector or when I came to the villa for meetings, with him. And he treated everyone the same way. If there was a problem that was brought to his notice, even if it were done by his people, he would take personal interest in getting it fixed. Like I said again, he had his shortcomings, but one thing no one would ever be able to take away from his legacy was the man who had character, integrity, and love for this country.
And on that note, we move to the next conversation. And that brings us to the next conversation.
No, but I think before we even go to the next conversation, I think people really need to understand, why are we here? Why are we even doing this?
Is it just another podcast?
Because everybody today, his interest in the media space is so fragmented.
It's been liberalized.
With a camera, with your phone, with one ring light or the light you attach to your phone, you're a content creator, you can create movies. You just sit in one corner of your bedroom, put some seats and everything, you create a podcast. But, and it's funny how every single person sitting down here today, we've had individual conversations as to the need for us young people in government with access to the inner workings of government to come out, have these conversations, and start changing the way people see governance, people interact with those people that have handed over the responsibility to lead this country for them, and how, they interact with the policies of government. And, when we were having a random conversation setting up for today, a young lady said something and she said, oh, the price of rice, the price of this is up and all that. I will know when I want things to change. And I asked a simple question. I said, how would you know when things change? And she couldn't answer it. And then someone else in that same group actually came out and said, I think it's high time we as Nigerians start to look at ourselves as individuals. What is our own personal contribution to the success or the failure of not just the country alone, but also the people that you have elected to lead you? Whether it's 30% of Nigerians elected a person, or 50% or 70%, democracy means when someone is elected, the entire country rallies behind the person. So for me, I think we should all share what moments made you realize that something like this was necessary.
We tried something like this at the level of the office of the speaker, speaking to leaders, members of the house. And I think they were able to go share to their constituents what they're there and the role they play in nation building. Because we have realized that the National Assembly, the legislative arm of government, is meant to be the closest, but is the most and easily misunderstood by the people. So that was the idea. So these arrangements, we have felt that it should have been even in previous governments, where you have the young, digitally savvy aides try to enlighten the public from their perspective, because sometimes you don't blame people when they make ignorance submissions on social media. You can only speak to the extent that you know. You are in government in one capacity or the other. You have opportunity. You hear things the public may not hear. You see things. You know how difficult sometimes these things are that appear to be easy to the public. It is your patriotic duty to try to communicate to the public and educate them a local. Though some of the things you say may be germane, some of your concerns may be legitimate. However, This is our side of the conversation. So I feel I add this Cesar Zukta as essay to the speaker that we must communicate. Fashola was saying in one of the interviews, saying he has not, all the principals he has worked for, they have always suffered that detriment of not communicating enough. Leaders, maybe because of the schedule when they get to office, even the most eloquent amongst them get to office and they appear distant to the public because they do not communicate enough. And many times, the people do not really want you to send your aides, your spokespersons, they want to hear from you. So we that are not...
We suffer out a lot in the presidency.
Exactly. So we that are not exactly principals, can we help the government? Can we help this administration to ensure that in a little way, we, at least shed light to the dark areas and let the people have better understanding of how things work, politically and in terms of policy?
I mean, riding on what you just said, for me, it was, all my life I've been in the communication space, in international development, private sector, now in government. And coming into government, being responsible for digital comms and engagement and strategy for Mr. President and the presidency, the first thing that hit me was that the average person who we interact with, or whose data we're looking at, or whose conversations we're looking at, had this assumption that nothing is working. And, I could have just decided that, we want to start fighting back, Gbasgbos, the whole online thing. But I said, no, let me dig deeper to find out why people think like this. And riding on what you said, I just realized that it's because they don't see some of these things. It could be because of the silence, like you said, or for whatever reason. And digging further, I just also realized that these things that these people don't see, based on their assumptions that nothing is working, actually the things that shape their lives, the country, the decisions that are being made. So I just felt like, us having these conversations, us, reaching out to people through this sort of platform would help people see for the first time those things that they could not see. Because what we have that the normal Nigerian out there does not have is access. Access to government, access to the inner workings of states. And we can use that to the benefit of the Nigerian people so they are well informed, so they can make better decisions. So even when election comes, nobody will come and tell them a lie that, the government you have elected is not working or is working or is doing nothing. You can be a part of that process and make informed decisions, that will affect you, your family, your community, and the country.
And for me, I'm in the entertainment space, and I'm a comedian. It's easy for me to stand in the front of people.
Thank God directed on the seventh day.
It's supposed to be getting me for free. No, he actually did. He said a perennial candidate. Okay. Do what God did.
On the 7th. And it is easier for me to stand on the stage and make Nigeria the butt of the joke. And it will evoke a lot of laughter. It is easier for me to denigrate institutions and people will laugh. But you get to a certain level, an age, and then you begin to question the reality around you. I turned 40 in 2023.
I was there.
And people came to my birthdays and they said a lot about what I've done. And it was so fulfilling to hear that I told myself, if all this was said at my burial, even if I was 100, people would have said he died a good man. But then I re-examined my life and career. And I saw that I'd achieved much and have helped quite a lot of people. by denigrating the country. I'd crack jokes that made Nigeria the butt of the joke. And sometimes we never get the opportunity to fix it.
Do you regret it?
I don't regret it because I don't regret things. But I always think that when the opportunity presents itself, you should be able to make it right. A lot of the times, Nigerians don't seem to understand that politics affects their everyday lives. And they don't understand that policies is always intertwined with politics. And because of that lack of understanding, some Nigerians, don't let me say Nigerians, and because of that lack of understanding, we say things that are not true. And because of that, some people tend to believe that the government is never for the people.
They become disillusioned.
And then you hear voice populi, voice there.
The voice of the people is the voice of
Voice of God. And the truth is, it is not always so. The voice of the people are not always the voice of God. Because an ignorant set will voice the wrong thing. If we go with the voice populi, voice there, and other stuff, we probably will make mistakes.
True.
So we should be able to look at things and be able to separate the facts and figures from the propagandas and all that. And then we have moved to an age of AI. The AI doesn't search for the truth in the heart of people. It searches for the truth in the voices on the internet. And so if we allow lies become the fact of the future, even though it's not true, our children will blame us.
True.
But on the other hand, I realize that people who are saddled with the responsibility of correcting these things immediately have left it for so long and it has become truth. We want to be politically correct. So many people want to avoid backlash. So we have let lies stay too long and now they have become truth and it's hard. It's now very difficult to correct these things. We see it on the internet and you see people telling you, oh, okay, to get a federal government job, you need to know somebody, you need to know that person. On the internet, 2 days ago, I saw someone who registered for immigration. He was tagging the Nigerian president to tell the Nigerian president that I don't know any other. So I have come to you for me to get this job. I am in Nigeria and I deserve a shot at this. Now, we have let people believe for so long that you must know somebody, you must grease something before you can find a footing in anything that. So we have left it for so long that people no longer believe that their knowledge alone can carry them far.
Mm-hmm.
There was an argument on the internet the other day, something about Nepo.
And Lapo.
Nepo
And Lapo.
You belong to the Nepo category.
You belong to the Nepo category.
If you say that.
So, does that mean you belong to
Nepo too? No.
I mean,
Otega is Nepo.
I'm neither here nor there. But one thing I know is that by virtue of hard work, by virtue of, just focusing, and my parents were public servants. They worked in 9 out of the 5 years and everything. They didn't steal, you know, at a point in my life, I was like, why didn't you do this when you start? Very, very weird thinking when your mates were, you know, stealing. But they ensured that they sent all their kids to schools, very good schools. And that I am grateful to my parents for. What was left for me as a person coming out of school was taking that, putting hard work behind it, and letting the world take care of it. And God has been grateful. You know, I have not had to approach anyone for a job in my entire life. And when I got my first job, hard work, persistence, you know, just that willingness to learn
Eventually, even if
and listen
even if you
has gotten me places
even
I
if
would
you're
never
not
have gotten
a Nepo
to.
baby, at least sure that your children become Nepo children.
No, you see, I'm waiting for you to finish because I said that if you leave a false narrative for so long,
It becomes
Truthful. Before you
now you can say that I am a Nepo baby. But there's this. I put in the work. That's why I'm where.
Indeed.
I ask my previous bosses if I treated the work as though
As the rights.
it's my right now. I'm sure that I wouldn't be here now. I'll probably do something else.
And this is why a lot of Nepo babies end up becoming Nepo parents themselves. Because that's one thing that they are taught from childhood, which is the moment you slack, you lose everything.
So for me, when this opportunity came, I felt, okay, you know what? Come out from that your
Cocoon.
speak your truth.
So play your role in nation.
And play your own nation build.
Epistemic.
APC NEC. Well, the APC now has a new national chairman, Professor Ntawe Iowata from Plateau State.
A strategic one at that.
I mean, it caught a lot of people unawares.
I mean, so
Got me up.
for the NEC yesterday, one of the things that was very interesting to me was when the chairman of the Progressive Journalists Forum, Governor Hope Uzodinma, was called to move the motion and also pay tribute to the former president. In great wisdom, he called on the former vice president, Professor Yemi Oshiba, to give that tribute. It shows the sort of party and the sort of maturity within the APC fold. The person who served directly with former President Muhammadu Buhari was in the room, and no greater honor can be given to anybody aside that. Speak to what you know of your former boss. If it was interesting, and also
Professor Yemi Osinbajo, very eloquent.
As an orator.
You know, an orator.
That's the stuff.
What do you expect?
You know, when it's there's one of
Not charge and bail, because we see a lot of them. I see a lot of them on Twitter.
you know when there was a time he spoke somewhere, and that was what I used to pay tribute to President Muhammadu Buhari, when he said he was going to sue some people for libel, and he decided to inform his principal, and then he got there, and he told his principal that I'm going to sue these people for libel, and his principal said, buttressing what we're talking about, that just leave these people. That would you believe that they said I was taking a second wife at the National Museum,
And they printed
at the National Mosque, and true to it, Nigerians gathered waiting for him
because they actually printed
to get married.
they printed cards, IVs, and everything.
This buttresses the reason why we needed to do this. Because if they believed that the president was getting married and nobody could fact check it, to say, from all that I have gathered, this is not true.
Well, I think that was even of less consequence if they could believe he was dead. And placed by crew.
I'm going to offend so many people if I if I get it.
Please, let's allow you with let's allow you with the
Yeah, another thing was they moved the motion for the new chairman, the chairman of the Progressing Governors Forum, His Excellency Tinubu-Shettima, moved the motion, and he was seconded by our high principal, and they did it the way we do it in the National Assembly,
family.
and unanimously, the eyes had it.
Rancor-free.
Now, we in the political space, when you look at it, this sort of neck that the APC has just concluded, if there have been other parties that have been so much tension, rancor, too many things that takes the beauty away from democracy.
And I think this is where Mr. President's statements at the National Assembly when it came to, at the last joint session, comes into play. We need our political parties to get their acts together. When they announced this new coalition, I was one of those that was very happy. And I know we're going to talk about that. But why was I happy? Because I felt for the first time, they would coalesce together, be mature about opposition politics, and give us a run for the money, where we can then start to discuss and show Nigerians on both sides, the strength and value of our ideas, of our policy thrusts and directions. But I'm yet to see that, and I think I put out a tweet yesterday that, it's just disappointing. And I probably gave them too much credit that, initially. It's not my job or Mr. President's job to wish them well.
Talking about that, I mean, I've always maintained that when the time is right, we'll exhibit the things that sets us apart. For now, let everybody continue to play what they can play. Because when you look at it, they are not putting their house in order, but you want to blame someone else for it.
Yeah, but we need mature political parties.
Let me take it from where
in this country.
And to add to your point, I think the chairman's unanimous election as chairman also struck a balance within the zonal alignment.
Yes, I was going to get to that because now they had to ratify it. Now that regional balance is coming into play.
Yeah.
The North Central is getting their representation. The Northwest will get their representation. Generally, rancor-free. Everybody is getting what they want, and you can see that. Yes, what's it called? It is expected of the party in power to be disorganized.
No.
Look, let's call it spade a spade.
True.
Let's call it spade a spade.
There's never been a time.
It will be disappointing. It will be very disappointing.
We're all here when Oshomole.
No, sorry, wait, my brother, wait. So I want to hear his points.
So now, when you say we're all here when Oshomole was removed, it was disappointing at the time.
True.
Even
Whether we want to
say
speak the truth
Or not.
even during OBJ's time, when Adobe was giving the description of how he was removed, I think he granted a controversial interview. They say so. He made a controversial statement. OBJ, as sitting president and leader of the party, PDP, visited it, requested for funded here.
They ate in his house.
Ate in his house. And they removed the prepared letter, saying, oh, you do know, after what we said today, I can't let you continue being my chairman. You know that one. Fine.
Do you see what you're saying now?
OBJ returned. He said he feared for his life because he thought he was going to eliminate it. Say, you didn't put the date. So that's why when we're clamoring, after the interview when Ashwaji was just the winner, saying, for the first time ever, apologies to everybody that has become president for now. We have a president that was actually prepared and willing to be president. This is the first time. It would have been Buhari at first, but at the time Buhari became president, he was already fed up. He already lost all. He declared he was not going to run again. So when he became president, the first statement
They
Buhari
say
made,
president convincing.
the first statement Buhari made, I wish I was president earlier when I was younger. That was the first statement he made. So the first time when we have a president that actually wanted to be president, not accidental, not because your boss died in office, not because there was a coup that removed your boss, not because you were convinced by the Sultan, Dasuki then, to come and run. Sheikh Shagari was going to be senator. He never planned to be president. So when you have someone who is prepared, who has planned all through the years to be president, that is when it becomes expected, saying, you are willing to go juggernaut. Having been prepared, this is your lifetime ambition, then we should expect this, but it has not always been so.
I think we needed to also let people know that the way the motion was moved for the chairman, it was the executive and seconded by the legislative. Strategic. It shows the harmony between the executive.
The maturity in this party.
Look,
I don't want us to break it down to the elected officials now and the government itself.
The party, yes.
The party has come of age. What's the former party that said it would rule for 60 years or how many years, couldn't do from 1999 to 2015. A party that came out from nowhere, a conglomeration of different parties, has been able to achieve that level of political maturity in such a short time. And I think that is extremely commendable.
Yeah. Also, yesterday, one of the things that, then we got to hear from the new chairman, a very soft-spoken man. He gives off the, I'm a gentleman, I am a technocrat. Yes, he's a technocrat.
Professor.
He's a professor, he's a technocrat, and at some point he has served as a resident electoral commissioner in Benue State. And he was also the presidential candidate for the party, the gubernatorial candidate for the party in Plateau State. So I saw his interview, and he said something that was very, very, very interesting. He said, we can look at the attitude of the president. He's soft-spoken too, but he gets the job done. So the party can count on him to get the job done. He also said he's there as a coordinator, that we should remember that the party starts from the ward level. And his job there is to consult across board, and he's just there as a coordinator. I think that if we listen to statements like that, you can trust the kind of leadership qualities that this person is going to bring into the party. And left to me, it's too early to say, but APC looks like they are prepared for the 2027 election. Also, the president used the opportunity to say something that I have always wanted to say. It lets you understand that the sort of president you have is the guy who knows what is going on in the streets. And he used the opportunity to speak to the governors. The people at the grassroots level are still complaining. He used the word wet the grass. Let's be honest. The state government level has to do something urgently.
I think governance complacency in the states is also historical. If you have governors, today some of them may even be running to be presidents. And then for 8 years, what you parade to us as our most significant, most defining achievement, the reason we should vote for you, is a beer alcohol distillery company. Beer factory. You see, that speaks to you that they know that, and they are riding upon Nigerians as a whole, our ignorance to seek accountability from the government closest to us. Somebody was expecting the federal government to build primary health care, for example. Somebody was asking the federal government why there are no primary schools on the street.
But that is why we're here. My brother.
We're here to explain that.
Corroborating you why the president will have to say, look, the governors, if policies is local, governance is also local.
Governance has to be local.
Where's the grass?
You know, Nigeria is a federation, and there are different levels of governments in that federation, each with very distinct, roles, responsibilities. As, stated in the Constitution, you are the legislative aides there, and you know that. Unfortunately, the Nigerian people don't seem to be fully aware of what the roles and responsibilities of these different levels of government are, so that they can seek accountability. And I think that's where that huge governance gap comes from. You cannot ask for accountability for what you don't know.
Exactly. That's why I mentioned that people genuinely are honest in their criticism, albeit from an ignorant standpoint.
Yeah.
You can't blame them. What are we doing to also educate and enlighten them that these are the real rules of the each cadres of government, But taking it from you, from the ruling party to the opposition, I think first of all, the Bible says if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The very definition of what the term coalition now is already faulty. Within our political context, coalition is not what we currently have with the oppositions. And they keep comparing to 2015. I watched their interviews. We did it in 2015. I was a signatory to the merger. What happened in 2015 is, first of all, putting aside every other factor, we have to understand and admit that parties agree to concede, to strip and forgo their individual identities, to submit themselves to one formidable body.
One again.
It's like stripping your old skin, how snakes do. You shed your old skin, take up a new one. And everybody agrees to sacrifice their individual identities, whatever they may have had or gathered under the previous name, to submit to a new identity. That is not happening here. At best, what we see happening is politicians, as they always do, defecting to an existing party. If we define that as coalition, then the real coalition is APC.
Exactly.
Because we resumed this assembly, speaking from the legislative point of view, with 56 senators. Now, almost 71 now. There are 2 by-elections to fill in the existing, the vacant positions. So we could have 73 simple majority, overwhelming majority in the Senate. And that goes to the House as well. Not to speak of governors that are not on their own volition, leaving their party to come to the APC, along with every structure attached to them, including the local government chairman. If we call what they do now in APC coalition, then this will be the real coalition. No, that is no coalition.
It's even something for the snake to shed its skin. It's another thing to now adapt into the new structure.
The new structure.
But like they say, the chameleon will only adapt, but it cannot change its form.
My own problem is that people who left government less than 1,000 days ago, already have something they can give the country that they did not remember to give when they were there for 8 years. It's a very, very, you see, that's why we're here.
This is why
That's why we're here.
I like our conversation.
Otega said, we have to give it to the ATC. We hope and we we pray for their survival because they contribute to the vibrancy.
Yes, of the democracy. Yeah.
However, like I said, we are not going to thrive. Do we really continue in sin and say grace should abound? Paul said, God forbid.
God forbid.
Preach.
The content is as important as the contents. Yes, Dad. You comparing 2015 again, you say you want to repeat the 2015 feats. And then we remind you again that one of the things that helped the APC then to effectively preach and market the change mantra was because both leading personalities of the party were considered at the time not to be part of those that contributed to the mess. Tinubu was governor. Buhari, at least in the Fourth Republic, was not part of those that contributed. And his memory of his leadership as head of state leaves some nostalgic. If there was discipline, there was discipline, there was a fight against corruption.
Even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was governor, borrowed from the President Muhammadu Buhari's mantra of war against the discipline. And we have Kai in Lagos, kick against the discipline.
That okay, if they are preaching change, truly they are not part of the mess. So they could easily get the sympathies of the citizens. Now, as you mentioned, if your chairman is David Mark, who threatened to shoot the declared winner of the June 12th election, if you declare MKO, I'm going to shoot him myself. I captured it in my book. One who fought against democracy, who was Senate president for 8 years. And from what I've heard from Benue, my friends from Benue said, even the road leading to his house is not tarred. He flies to his house, there's a helipad on his hilltop mansion. It's no more terrible. We say, the people are right to say, look, what's happening here? Now, some of our friends there, Amici, Erufai, who else is there? Peter Obi, Aregbe-Shola. Now, I was telling...
I mean, to make a clear case for Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi is neither here nor there. When you look at his body language.
Which you see, but that's why I said initially that I became disappointed, because when they came in and their new secretary, or because it's not, some people are saying it's not the secretary yet, their embattled new secretary, put out that post. I was so happy, and I put up a post saying, welcome. It's for me, it's boring and it's frustrating for me to be talking to opposition that cannot. They're not, thank you, that's the perfect word. They're not disciplined enough to put together their thoughts, their policies, and challenge us on the basis of that. We've removed fuel subsidies. Challenge us on that basis. And we are floating the naira. Challenge us.
It shouldn't be. I would do it differently.
On the strength of the policy.
The challenge should be on the strength of oral.
And this is how we'll do it differently.
This is the percentage or the portion of the subsidy I'm removing. I preempt that this will be the residual effect, and this is how I'm going to borrow to fix this. And if I don't borrow, I can seek grants from here. What we are currently facing as a nation has led us here, these inflationary pressures. It wouldn't have been so if I have done it like this. That should be step by step. What you will do differently, not I will do it systematically.
The problem of the foreign exchange is foreign exchange.
It's foreign thing.
So I was talking about Regbe. Sorry, I was talking to you say about this. If you recall, when our very good father, Baba Regbe-Shola, was Minister of Interior, I thought the only duty expected of a Minister of Interior
declare public holidays.
Yeah, once I see his picture,
I know there's a public holiday.
And excited, there's a public holiday. I know we didn't criticize.
And I think that is where we were wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why today I'm actually happy when I see people within the party, APC, speaking against the governments. Because what it does is it helps those of us in leadership positions
to sit up and go and reevaluate what we're doing. But I don't want us to also fall into this because we are highlighting an issue here, which is everyone focuses on the executive and leaves the other arms of government. And even in this conversation, we're falling into that same trap. Everything we've just been talking about now still is at that executive level of government. The truth is, people are crying. And I'll say that because, yes, I have families, I have friends, I have opposition, I have, and we can hear them. And I know that many a times it's because they also lack information. They lack anything from our side. Sometimes there's a deliberate silence from our sides. Other times it's simply because we are not taking them through the process. And some other times people just want to be mischievous. So regardless of what it is, it's very important. Like the president said yesterday, what are those at the subnational level doing to change the plight of the people at the grassroots? The federal government, the federal government, like you said, has absolutely no business doing primary healthcare centers. As we speak today, over about 15,000, 17,000 primary healthcare centers are being fixed by the federal government. That is the job of your local government. Do you know at home? Because at the end of the day, everybody puts the blame on the president's table. And yes, absolutely, the buck stops on his table. As the leader, with the only person in this country that has the clear mandate of every single Nigerian to lead on their behalf. Every other person is sectional, whether you're a state governor or you're a legislator or you're in the local government. How do we then start to translate? Because at the top, we are the overarching strategy. You create the laws, we push what we want to do to you, you approve them, and then some things go back to the states. 2/3 of the states have to approve before it can become law, binding on the entire country. Other things just become law immediately, depending on what schedule of the constitution that it falls under. How do we then begin to ensure that the states and the local governments live up to their responsibilities to the people?
So where nobody does the job of somebody does the job of everybody.
Exactly.
We can't allow that to continue. So, like I was saying, the president has heard the cries of people, and he has shown that empathy to always come out and say, I know this is what you're going through. He has never shied away from it. But at the end of the day, he's powerless to fix every single issue at every level for everyone. So what are those who have been elected
And empowered.
and empowered, to solve these issues doing to ensure that the benefits of democracy, the benefits of 25 years undisrupted democracy in Nigeria
It's to the common man.
is getting to them? Because without us fixing that, my brother, there is no way the common man on the streets will see the dividends of democracy. Even if we get there, they would not even know
That we're there.
that we are there. And that is the major problem.
The urgency I want to see from the state level of government and the local level is missing. And that is the juice that makes us know what the berry truly tastes like. That is the micro level, the microeconomy. The presidency is enacting policies, the new tax reform, removing subsidy to give more money to the state governments and local governments, giving the local government financial autonomy, and the benefit should be at the microeconomy. The people, the rice sellers, increase their purchasing power and all those stuff. But what are the states doing about it? How can we hold the local government chairman accountable? How do we make demands of them?
The president, the National Assembly passed the local government autonomy, which was one of the president's most...
Yeah, because he's always spoken about true federalism. Almost all his books, you see him talk about that.
But still back to our problem of the states not doing enough, because it's since been passed by National Assembly, but it has not been replicated by individual state assembly, meaning that the funds going to the states, local governments, are still not getting to that. And that also affects practically many other things that would have sped up development in this nation. Either for ethnic, tribal, or religious sentiment, states suspend seats on laws that would have benefited the ordinary man.
So I hear you, and sorry, I'll keep playing devil's advocate on this conversation, because I think that's where governance is felt the most, especially at the local government level. It's one thing to say the states are doing this. It's another thing for you and I as individuals, or the people out there that we're speaking to at this moment, as individuals, demanding
That's what I say.
for what is, you know,
Look at
so
what is happening. I'll take a
in every-
Look at what's happening in Lagos now.
The local government chairman.
I mean, I've been seeing one Lagos State, one local government chairman, Moyo, and the other guy, Oshinowo, and what they're doing. Those are what some states, some governors used to get elected.
Practically every local government in Lagos today wants to make a statement.
Yeah, it's not a competition when you
Wants
look
to
at
make a development a statement.
I think Oshinowo's tenure ends today.
And yet he's still doing all of this.
So they are doing a final commissioning.
Otega, you know
Final
the issue we have?
commissioning.
You know the issues we have. The attention that goes to Lagos State,
Is more.
if individual indigenes dedicate 10% of that attention to their respective states,
Now that's where I'm coming to.
will be where Lagos is today. But you are from God knows where, another region entirely, your attention is in Lagos because perhaps you only live in Lagos. Your primary health care, your local roads are not going on, your markets are not functioning, but it's Lagos. 2023 election, for example. Let's assume the dedication we put to that local election. Everybody from that, I'm not from Lagos, I've never claimed Lagos. But my part of Southwest, we can confidently claim Lagos because historically the Jebus are connected to Lagos State. There people be proud of their states. Historically, proud of your states. Say proud of your states. So we are saying, you said what about individual demanding accountability? That's where it starts from.
But they are not demanding accountability. That's
Because they don't know that they can't demand accountability.
Do you know what?
That is why
you know what?
governor
You know
does
what I realized?
minimum.
You know what I realized?
How will you build beer parlor again? You see, look at Gobet's channel.
First, I need to correct that. Fact check you. He didn't build a beer parlor. He built a brewery. Let me fact check you on that.
You know we have 3 breweries in Ogun State. 3.
Yeah.
And no Ogun State governor, what his name, that wants to retain that seat, will brag with that and expect us to vote for him.
So, you see, the thing is that is why we are here. But then, we must also say that, do our people even know what to demand for? Everybody knows what to do when it comes to the federal government. Everybody knows what to say when it comes to the federal government. But how many people do you see pick a state and talk about it? So I think one of the things we should do in this forum is decide that we are going to do research or bring people from all the states of the federation.
And local government.
We can even bring the governors.
Let's even start from the people from their states. What are you asking for? What are you lacking in the state level that you are so afraid to ask your governors for?
Let us go.
Let's ask on your behalf.
Go on the comment section.
Let's ask on your behalf.
Type your state.
Let's ask on your behalf because the truth is this.
request
Look,
an invite.
let's be honest. With great respect to all of the governors doing actual work for their people. Maybe there are some who are doing it and they are not communicating it properly.
Properly, sure.
This should be a wake-up call that they should prioritize communication. There are so many governors I will see on the TV screen and I'm wondering, who is this? Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
I receive bashes every day because of my
Let's be honest. Look.
No, it's not the donkey.
This is not us, or this is not me attacking anybody. But let's call a spade a spade. If everybody is going to, and I am not saying do not put pressure on the administration
of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. By all means,
We welcome
he
it.
asked for this job, so he must feel the pressure that
And
comes
he
with the
himself
job.
welcomes the pressure.
Now,
So,
for me,
Guilty to prevent it.
for me, my conversation is he had requested for the job, he has gotten the job, whatever pressure that comes with the job,
Deal with it, sir.
he should deal with it, sir, with all due
We
respect.
also get the perks of
But
what-
also, we are not going to forget about other elected officials.
down the line.
They have a role to play in all of these things. They have removed subsidy. I see people ask, so where's the subsidy money? Allocation to the states have increased.
No, that's
We
actually-
always seek.
That's actually
The accountability we always seek from the federal government.
Sorry, Marshal. Where is this money you say you are saving from subsidy? No. First of all, we have to admit it's an illiterate question. It's born out of deep-seated ignorance. Because I recall 2015 when Buhari took over, at least 28 states
Couldn't pay salaries.
We're able to pay
pay
some.
salaries.
2023, when this government took over, the federal government would not have been able to pay salaries in 2 months had subsidies not been removed.
No, I'm citing 2015. You know I cited 2015? Because those are the years they refer to when Nigeria
We are not angry.
Nigerians were not angry.
Yes. Nigerians were not angry.
I had to cite 2015.
Nigerians were not angry.
At the time. It was good. It was cyber. Rice was bag of rice was 40,000. We could afford bag of rice. You see, I say states, even the most affluent of them couldn't pay salary.
You see, the thing is this.
Ekwesola was paying 1/3 salary.
Like,
And the state was still simple at the time. I felt it. And the state still went bankrupt. It was last in almost every economic industry.
see, like I was saying, we must ask these governors the important.
No. Before the no, you made a point, a more valid point earlier. Let's even bring their citizens first.
There's a chair here.
This case, yeah.
The voice of the people.
Even if
Come and sit
if you
here.
can't bring them here, I think going forward, we will start to either introduce virtual call-ins or we even go out there ourselves and go and mine these questions and bring it here and we'll discuss it.
Because the truth is that, look, yeah, it is interesting to say so governor left his party and came to this party. It's interesting to see the transfer window. Abi, it's interesting. But let us also understand that if somebody who has not done well for his people
It's coming to
is coming into the fold, remember that
The baggage.
what he has, the baggage he is bringing comes with him.
And then it will be more of a liability than an asset.
And he's more of a liability than an asset.
And what
Because
say, if one finger touches oil,
The rest of the
you know what's funny about Nigerians? They will not remember that he was a PDP or ADC or whatever governor. He is now an APC governor. So here's the thing.
how does wrap-
Let me wrap this quickly. Let me just wrap this quickly.
I'm not think coming now.
Let me wrap this quickly. Whatever fear the Nigerian people have for their governors, one way or another, it needs to die. As you make the center uncomfortable and you are keeping them on their toes, you must keep your governors on their toes. By now, I expect that everybody, every well-meaning Nigerian at the state levels would have approached their state houses of assembly. What's going on with the local government autonomy?
financial autonomy.
Thank you so much.
What's going on? Because if the local government does not function the way it should function, we have still not done anything. We are still all just dancing around the same problem and hoping that some miracle is going to happen.
Some governors are so.
Political side.
Yes, I'm just I'm just going to say this. Some governors have also benefited from the benevolence of the presidency to receive accolades of jobs not done by them.
Yes.
That is why somebody will say that he was on the road from Port Harcourt to Aba And after driving for 46 minutes, that it took her 46 minutes from Port Harcourt to get to Aba.
Give credit to the
and
governor.
give credit to the governor of Abia State.
You can say such a person does not know. There are so many people that don't know what a state road is and what a federal government
That is
is.
why I said. That is why I said some governors have benefited from the benevolence of the presidency, and then the federal government.
Should throw a lot of governors under the bus. And I will tell you, and again, even though I'm talking within the context of this conversation, you need to, like you said, or was it that said it, the context is as important as the content. Now let's look at it this way. A lot of local governments, and it's a double-edged sword. A lot of local governments are complacent with their approach to governance. All you want is to get your allocation from the center, whether it's the state or the federal government, pay councillors' salaries, pay the chairman's salaries, pay the administrative staff salaries, and then you are not thinking on how you can create income within your local government. Mind you, things like markets are the responsibilities of the local government. So the taxes, the levies, if you build your markets, make them, better, improve the lives of the people living in your communities, it simply means more money will flow into that place. It simply means you can contribute more to FAC and get more back from FAC.
This also goes back to what.
But all of these things do not matter if me, as a person on the streets, does not know
That's what I'm saying.
where or what progress is,
They say,
or what my obligations to the states are. We always talk of the obligation of the government, whether it's local, states, to us, but we never talk about what are our obligations to states.
Pressure refines treasures. Look at all the states where the local governments there, either state or local governments, have been put under serious scrutiny. They have been forced to perform. Ogun State, for example. Ogun is always in the news. Bad roads, bad roads, bad roads. But they have been, because the government knows the people are informed enough to demand directly dividends of their governance, they will turn up. You see?
So this is a self-indictment on even us, because it simply means that we are not doing a lot in educating the people
will not
about what their rights are. Even if they say ignorance is no excuse under the law, we actually do need to educate a lot of people.
There's good news on the economic side. The GDP recorded some rise. We have cost figures underlined, and inflation coming down. And at least after the replacement. So
Let me be the bearer. Let me be the devil's advocate here. Let me be the devil's advocate here. Okay, you have just told me the GDP did this. What else did you say? Inflation has come down. How much is a bag of rice?
well, if you are going to go that route,
Well, that's the route of the average Nigerian.
Advocates, they will say food inflation in the past 3 months have been on a decline, steady decline. Food inflation, along with the headline inflation, at least of the major staple foods we consume. There will be some other,
So
Now you are speaking about the staple foods you consume.
It might not be.
It might not be what I consume.
So let me try my best. That's what I'm saying. Let me try my best, because now I am sweating under my jacket. But I think I'm up to the task. The context again is very, very important. And instead of using, you mentioned GDP, I will start with using something called GDP purchasing power parity. And why I always ignore GDP figures in favor of that. GDP PPP simply means, that's money in your country. How far can it go? Purchasing like for likes within your local context versus another country.
the value your local currency commands within the local context.
You understand?
Because if you convert naira to pounds, What Naira will buy in your local market is not what pounds you buy in their local markets.
And when you look at things from that point of view, then you begin to have a little bit of peace of mind. And then you start to say, Nigeria is number 27, GDP PPP. I think we're about $1.6 trillion. Globally, 27 globally, second in Africa. And 1.6 Egypt.
Egypt.
$1.6 million, but trillion dollars. But that's not even it. Let's now take it back to 2023 when this government came in. What happened? We were broke. We have been funding the subsidy bill with trillions of naira and dollars every single year.
And we're 8% debt to GDP.
Just so
revenue.
we're borrowing
Debt to revenue.
to fund that subsidy bill for 18 months at the minimum. What a lot of people forget is that the Buhari government had actually said it 2 years before that the subsidies were going to end
Yeah, by June.
because we couldn't sustain it anymore. We had borrowed against our foreign reserves to the extent that our net foreign reserves dropped to about $4 billion. Yeah, that's $4 billion. That's how much we had borrowed again, because your net means you have the money, but you cannot touch it because it's been leveraged to some other things or encumbered. And then we had an FX crisis where even if you're an industrialist or an SME, you could not go outside there to borrow money or to do anything or to get FX, to even import goods or do your business and trade with other countries. And you have to go to the black markets or go and start paying someone tons of dollars in CBN so that they can give you allocation or in your banks or whatsoever, aiding corruption. So when we came in, there was no money to pay salaries. There was no money to invest in infrastructure. We did not even have enough breathing space to say we want to go to international lenders to borrow money because we had leveraged 98% of our income.
Yes.
98 kobo of every 1 naira
Goes to debt servicing.
was going to debt servicing, more or less. And just look at this, Nigeria. If Nigeria were your own business, what would you do? They said, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. And that's what Mr. President saw. That wasn't in his speech. But he knew that if he didn't make that statement that day, he will lose whatever leeway the Nigerian people would give him
And Buhari himself
to be able to make that reform.
Buhari himself confirmed that from the governor's testimony, saying he does not envy the president. But in fact, the wisest thing he did was to remove it on him.
If he didn't do it then,
Because if you
I doubt he would have been able to do it.
If you let the sun to set on that day, that no other net.
And it happened to Buhari himself because he wanted to remove the subsidy. It was part of that document that we put together when he was coming in.
We no longer, because
And then it came in because they didn't do it on time.
to tell you why it is dangerous to remove it at that time.
But my brother,
you suspend.
so let me continue.
Anger, the Bible said,
And-
the sun
And that's
set on your anger.
Wallahi. And that happened. And we removed the subsidies on day one. Even though the now private NNPC, were still out of their own pockets, subsidizing it for a while, taking some of that on their own, not the government. I need to make that distinction clear because some people say the government was subsidizing and everything, but no, it was removed that day. But then we also realized we had $7 billion in FX backlogs.
Yes.
International airlines stopped coming to our country. A lot of businesses were going out of this country because they could not repatriate their dollars. They've invested there. You want to repatriate your money, you can't. We're losing credibility on a daily basis or a per second basis in the international financial community and amongst the Committee of Nations. What did we have to do? We had to stare the problem right in the face. And for this, I'm very grateful to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for doing that and fight it heads on. And we realized we needed two things. One, we needed the right data, because even data that was coming out of the central bank, was not, it was not rigorous. You had a lot of gaps in how data was being measured and how things were being measured. And with that, it gave us a lot of issues. And we said, as we are putting in palliatives in place and, initiatives in place to fix the twin-headed dragon, the biggest, corruption cesspool in this country ever, which was the joint dragons of subsidy and FX. As we're putting things in place to checkmate the cabals and fix those things, we also started to work on our data. And that's why you see, for the first time in a long time, Nigeria made a surplus in its balance of payments and balance of trade last year. And that's why we even have some more money to do a lot of things that we are doing. And there's a reason why I'm giving all this context, so that you understand where we are today. But despite doing all of this, food prices went up naturally as a result of fuel subsidies removal, FX, because inflation and everything. As a result of that, we realized that, hey, on what basis now that we are in a stronger position can we go outside there and say, come and invest in this country, come and take a bet on Nigeria? Guess what? The GDP figures we have been calculating in Nigeria was being based on the year 2010.
Yes.
So when you say Nigeria's economy is good, you know how to calculate your GDP now. You look at all the sectors of the economy, you add it all together into one basket. In 2010, the telecommunication space was just starting. Real estate was not as big as it was. Because of the telecommunication space gave us a lot of leeway to start new sectors, new things. You guys in the entertainment space, everything, you could open new businesses. There's content now, there's this, there's that. All those things were not captured in our former GDP calculations. The informal economy was not captured in our former GDP calculations. And for those who understand national planning, you cannot plan when your data is faulty. Faulty data leads to faulty planning, leads to faulty outcomes. So I need people to understand, why we're doing this.
When is the census?
So the census is coming soon. The president has already approved it.
That's important data.
Data, yes, but to do the census, we also, and that's what Mapping MC has done about, 100 and something million registered people now on our NIN platforms, because that's where it actually starts from, having the right data for everybody that is resident who comes into this country. So that's been done. So what did we say now? We said, what is the closest year that we can use to have a clearer view of the size of the Nigerian economy? So that whatever we are planning for, whatever we are doing, wherever we're going to look for money, we can have a better picture. And we chose 2019. So we rebase, and that's what rebasing means. That's fulcrum upon which we are checking everything. The year, instead of 2010 now, we are doing 2019. We have brought in all these other sectors, all these other businesses. We've brought in a lot of
2010 and 2019.
informal, economy that came into this country since 2010 into our calculations of the GDP. As a result now, based on the new GDP, which has increased by about 30%, Nigeria can confidently go to the international financial markets and say, this is the strength of our economy. We want to borrow against this. And now we actually now know those areas that we need to put in more efforts in terms of, the value chains, in terms of production, in terms of value addition and all those things. But you can't do those things. We can't just be saying, oh, we will do this, and your data is wrong. So that's why we've done that. Debt service ratio has also dropped.
Yes.
Below 50%.
To below 50%, and I'm sure we'll hit, and I'm sure by the end of this year, next year, we'll hit the 30-40% that the president wants. Yeah, and what's
I
that?
love your up the analysis on point, where he said, assume I do not have the knowledge of economics. Assume my capacity to grasp grammar.
Okay, I'm not even interested in it. Okay, let's assume that I'm not interested at all. I'd be present in the market.
I earn minimum wage. How does this improvement in this data affect me?
How does it affect you? It simply means that over time, because now we can now stimulate the economy better. It simply means that there are more opportunities for you to grow. Don't forget that in this same period, certain things have happened. The president has always been, a proponent of a credit economy.
Yes.
And what does that mean for the common man? Yes. It simply means that your minimum wage of 70,000 naira Why do you have to spend all that cash in a month on your basics when we can create a large enough economy that can provide credits to you, which we expect you to use responsibly, and take care of those things, and keep your cash and build your savings, which in turn re-stimulates the economy,
As it obtains,
build your business, and have more disposable income to do other
as it
things.
obtains elsewhere.
And what have we done with, let me finish before I lose my train of thoughts. What have we done with the credit economy thing? One, NEL funds. You're earning 70,000, your child is going to school. Depending on the school, the school fees ranges from 30,000 to about 700,000 whatsoever. The federal government is now saying, we'll take over that responsibility from you. Keep your 70,000 and use it to, do something that is more productive. We've taken that away from people. We are giving 2 years, is it 1 year or 2 years moratorium after you leave school, so that you can start paying back until you get a job.
That's what obtains elsewhere, first of all. However, I saw a post, you must have seen it as well, where the guy, upon graduated,
Oh, I saw that post. Thank you, NEL funds.
so if not for NEL Fund, I won't be here.
And I am happy because when we started NEL funds, there was a lot of opposition to it. And people said all sorts of things, that it was another white elephant project, another corrupt.
Under corrupt scheme.
But kudos to the team at NEL Fund led by Mr. Akintunde Sawyer. And that place is also manned by young people like us.
Indeed,
You go there and
notice I'm very
I'm always happy every time I walk into that place because it simply shows that with the right guidance, with the right, platforms and everything, young people can actually get things to work in this
today
country.
simply means that you do not have a reason valid enough
Not to go to school.
Westbury.
And if you say you don't want to go to university, technical schools at the tertiary level are now free.
Free. Yes.
And the best way to build a nation is to equip the young.
So I don't think anyone should have that excuse anymore. And we're not stopping at school fees. We said, okay, for those of you that are in the public service, for now, but the general population, Credit Corp is there. Credit Corp gives you loans, the guaranteed loans given by your primary banking institution, financial institution, PFIs, at 9% interest rates, so that you can buy those basic things you need at home.
So what
You can buy-
now is that, unlike before,
Where the government is just one bringing all the money into this
now
country.
open the economy such that even while earning your low income, the survivor shouldn't be threatened. Exactly. Because you then have windows of opportunities
To get things done.
access from sun.
Exactly.
And that's how developed nations are built.
Backed by policies.
Backed by policy, backed by right data, and backed by, tough, hard decisions.
Proper framework. Now,
So for those that say, and sorry, I need to bring this in. For those that say the president is doing this because he wants re-election, there are times I've sat down and I think, is the president okay? Because this is political suicide for a lot of people.
You know what? There's so many times I've sat down and I've looked at it like, this guy definitely
But
wants the election.
when I remember that this is the same man,
What?
I went to Lagos State Model College, Cancun.
those two policies.
So my WAEC, my NECO, this was a school that was off grid. We had lights 24 hours for the first time when it was in office. We had water, which was done in collaboration with Buhari, President Muhammad Buhari's, PTI. We had all those things. And they paid for my WAEC and NECO. And I could see what he did in Lagos. Well, when I remember that, and the fact that I have followed Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu consistently for the past, 14 years, bro, I am confident to walk into any room and do my job
Indeed.
for him. Because you can see him putting the building blocks in process. That's, he's not even thinking about himself, because a lot of the benefits of this, God give him long life, will be felt long after he has left office. He's thinking about us, he's thinking about our children, he's thinking about our children's children, he's thinking about his own children too.
Now let's close this.
Can I say this? I was talking to
You're
somebody.
closing, you can say it now.
Okay.
Why we want to wrap it up? Because we've had you release.
Restrict the time.
So, this FR, make your comments as we close.
Okay, I'm just going to say this. Some Nigerians are not friends of process. They don't love the process.
We're not subscribers of process.
Yes.
They are not Arsenal fans.
And I use this analogy. You're a father who wants to give your children juice. And you want to taste the juice yourself without washing the orange, prepping the orange, squeezing the orange, and bringing out the juice. And that is why you have to go to a store and just pick a package off the counter. Because for you, the process of juicing is too tedious. So you want the already packaged one.
Ready-made.
And that is why you take a pack that is not real juice,
Which will affect your health later on.
which will affect your health later.
Which is not of as much benefits than the natural.
And so, if we want a true and a healthy Nigeria, we must go through the rigorous work
process.
and endure the process.
It's usually the process.
Well, it's even beyond enduring. This is what needs to be done. Every country that has moved from where we are today to the ones we look up to had to go through this process.
I'll speak to all that we have said here. And you can tell that all of the things Ortega said, you and I know them. And I feel that at every level, now, not leaving it to just the official spokes for the government of the day, all of us have to make it a point of duty to educate everyone in our immediate environment to these things. Credit Corp, there are so many people who don't know about Credit Corp. And it can be useful to them.
Indeed.
My role in the office of the speaker has to do with SMEs. When you have conversations with them, you realize that they don't even know what's available for them in the area of grants, loans, or even skill.
And these are things like annual come up.
They don't know these things. And you cannot, what you have not shown to a man or what you have not told a man, you cannot blame him
For not demanding it.
for not demanding it.
Correct.
Do you understand? So I think that as the conversation progresses from here and everywhere else, just like the president is carrying the well-being of the average Nigerian, we should also do same in our own little corner. The man is doing a lot. I said earlier that I do not pity him. And I'm sure if you remember his own statement, he's not seeking for pity.
He asked for the job.
He asked for the job. So, as it stands, let us educate our people. Know what to demand and know who to demand from.
And follow the signal.
And follow the signals. You said earlier that you wish the coalition well. I'm not the sort of person that really prays for my enemies, but okay, whatever you say, it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, President said it's not his job to wish them well.
I agree.
You know, for me, my parting shot is based on the question you asked. How does this put food on my table? It doesn't put direct food on your table, but it gives the president and the government enough data and enough leeway to be able to create the enabling environments that will provide the things that will put food on your table. You know, I would want everyone to start to, like you just said, we need to start demanding more. But for us to demand more, we must invest in ourselves to know how, when, where, who to demand from. And you see, governance is not miracle. It's not a miracle center that you go to in Anambra back in the days and do your WAEC and pass. That's not governance. Governance is a very, very long relay. And if you don't understand the process, you'll be left with anger. The anger will prevent you from asking the right questions. And in doing so, you will lose sight of the opportunities that are available when they're right in front of you. And you won't be able to see progress. Do you know when you grow taller by 1 inch or 2 inches or 0.0, do you know? You don't know. But you know.
Or go heavier.
Exactly. But because growth is a process. And it's not only until after time has passed that you can now measure and say it. And I'm not saying do not cut us slack. I work for the president. The president has the mandate of the Nigerian people. His burdens are my burdens. I do not have an excuse because he does not have an excuse. My job is to communicate better. And I'm happy that we even had this conversation because I took a lot of, takeaways from this in terms of even doing my own job better. There are a lot of places I can do a lot more to help the Nigerian people know more and do more. So thank you very much for being here with me.
What I take from your closing shot is the government is not interested in just giving you fish and pretending all is well. It wants to create a vibrant pond where you can go with your own nets
And fish farm.
to catch fish. So my parting shot, since I speaking from the political spectrum, I was speaking on integrity the last time, saying that Warren Buffett said, when he looks to employ someone, he looks at 3 qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. He says if the first one is lacking, the other 2 will kill you. And this integrity is what we see. He said, is the government also, can we say it has integrity? It is based on that integrity that Tinubu has done it before. Yes. That we are hoping that currently he knows what he's doing.
knows what he's
Seeing that, and now, after 2 years, we can see he was not gambling on the premises that he has done it before. That is where the coalition.
Normally take 8 years.
That is where I'm giving my counsel to the coalition.
2 years already there.
The coalition should work on its integrity. The frontliners appear to have integrity issues. There is one who runs perennially. In fact, who runs against his own boss as vice president. Nigerians will observe it and say, what is happening? You must have the consistency to plant and nurture a system to grow. We can't be jumping from one place to the other. As aid to the speaker, you can't say tomorrow you want to be head to Akwabi, for example. Tomorrow you're aspiring to be head to Ashwaju. Then the following day you want to be a private person. Everybody will look, you're not consistent. So a leader must have that patience to endure the warring factions. And I sympathize with Peter Obi, for example, that I acknowledge it as one of the luckiest politicians we've ever had. In our history from the First Republic, you hardly find a politician that introduced himself to the national sphere with such figures following. Not even Awolowo did it, not Zik, not the great Sadawola. You had the figures, had the following, lucky man. But look at what has become. Labour Party should have been something you take as your nursing project. You build it.
Without
make
entertaining
it
anything
stable.
else.
And then from that front, you can then be proud to say, I have built a system. That's what Tinubu didn't see. Now, my party shot finally would be, though tongues and tribes
They differ.
may differ,
In brotherhood, we stand.
The philosopher.
and our spiritual devotion may vary. Our political inclinations may also be different. However, one fact is consistent and constant. We all belong to Nigeria, and Nigeria belongs to us. We hold it a patriotic duty, not to just see it survive, but to see it thrive. Subhanahu.
Thank you.